Let me tell you a story about these friends that I once had and that I don't have anymore. So let's first start with when I was young. So when I was young, as we all do, we have friends, through primary, and then most of the time what happens from primary to high school, you either grow apart or you just end up falling out because you're either immature or you just you don't really know how to treat your friends. You don't really know you don't really treasure that you have friends at that time. So you end up either losing them, or they end up changing as they get older, or they end up simply just moving to a different place in the world, or I don't know, or they change. I don't know. So but anyway, let me just now talk about when I was at high school. So bear in mind, when I start high school, by then I hadn't had a friend for about 2 or 3 years, and it was hard because I wanted friends, but at the same time, I didn't know if I was quite ready for it at the same time, because I just think okay, well, think about this. I've been doing quite alright by myself for quite some time now, so I'm thinking, okay, so even though I haven't got any friends, I think I'm doing quite alright. Which any of you, first of all, let me just say this, any of you out there that don't have any friends in that doesn't mean that you're weird, bro. It just means that you either aren't ready, or you just simply don't want friends. But let me tell you a story, okay? Let me tell you a story. So this is about year 8, year 9. So bear in mind at this time, I'm in this little room because I had mental health problems going on and shit, and we'll discuss that another day if we do. So after about a year and a half of being in a little room with a one-on-one teacher, I end up finally being, they end up thinking, okay, I think it's about time that we put him in a class. So they put me in a classroom. I obviously struggle with it very much, which should make sense. Sorry, there's a car. Okay, there you go. I obviously struggle very much, as I think we would all. Not being in a classroom for a year and a half. We're gonna struggle. So anyway, people are wanting to be friends with me. I'm not trying to no, but I'm just saying people were wanting to be friends with me because they're thinking, okay, so there's this new, student in our classroom. I think he's kind of cool. I kind of want to get to know him. So, they're obviously trying to, get to know me, and I'm just. But at first, I'm pushing them away because I'm thinking, no. Like I said, at this time, I was about 13 and a half. I'm thinking to myself, no, I'm doing okay. I appreciate that you want to get to know you, but I don't want any part of this. So obviously, as you can imagine, I end up going through this long state of just pushing everyone away, getting out my face, type shit. Which no one should be doing that, because like I said, you might be doing well you might think you're doing well in your own mind, but bro, if you haven't got any friends, I know I said a bit earlier that you haven't got any friends, it's fine, doesn't mean you're weird, okay, but not wanting friends, you need to speak to someone. I know, it's okay, fair enough if you've got family, but even just still, family is enough. But sometimes, come on, there's times where we're all sitting there and we think, I've just seen a kid across the road, 14, 15, playing basketball with his friends, or walking with a milkshake in his hand with his mates, and I'm thinking, I want that to be me. Anyway, like I said, I'm rambling too much now, right? Let's get back to the story. So anyway, at first I'm pushing these friends away because I'm thinking, nah man, I don't want anything to ruin my life. I don't want to make my life about just one person or about multiple people. At that time I felt like I was doing my best, which, if you've got no friends, are you really doing your best? You might be. Like I said, it depends on the situation. But in most situations, it's either because you're a toxic person or they're the toxic person, or you just have an unhealthy mindset. But so I'm obviously sitting there thinking no, I want to push these people away. But obviously, like I said, as time goes on, you end up thinking, I can't be doing this, and then you end up liking them anyway, and then you end up being friends with them. Now this is the part where, when I started to be friends with them, that I started to become the toxic one. Yeah, that's right, I'm being honest, I become the toxic one. Now, because I hadn't had friends in so long, and I realised after such a long time what true friendship means, I'm going to be honest with you, I was a massive attention seeker. That's right, I was an attention seeker. I would do anything. I would act silly. I would be a complete utter twat. I would be anything that's toxic and negative and unrealistic. Like, do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be my real self around these friends. I would make bad decisions, get told off by teachers all the time, and overall it just wasn't really helping out with school. So, but you know, obviously, you know, that's when you've already gained an unhealthy attachment to these friends. You know, you think that they support you, and you know, they think that you support them, which I was supporting them. But you know, like I said, after becoming an attention seeker, and you know, I think the reason why I became an attention seeker with them is because I was so scared about them leaving and them getting bored of me. You know, like I was just worried about them moving on and such. So I thought, okay, if I keep on attention seeking in certain ways, maybe they won't leave. Now, after a long time of doing that, well, I mean, I say a long time, I'm talking like 4 to 6 months. We drift apart. Now this is the part where my life straight crashes down like a fucking airplane, bro. I completely shut everyone off. I'm thinking, the only people I want back is those people. You know, I'm thinking, what is my life now without them? I'm now. This is when I go back to being in a one-to-one with a teacher, one-on, no social contact with any other students, completely cut off from any other, you know, social ties with anyone of my own age. My life is just complete. Excuse my language, but my life is shit. That was when my life was very shit. This was like 2022 now. This is like a quarter way through 2022, or like first few months of 2022. I'm thinking, nah, man, I've got to get those friends back. Like, do you know what I mean? I can't believe that they ended up pushing them away. I thought me being in tendency would keep them around. Did it? No. And I mean, obviously times have changed now, but like I said, I've got more to go into yet. It was just such a dark moment for me, because, like I said, I was thinking to myself, what is going to be my life now? I'm never going to get over these friends that I once had after not having friends for so many years. You know, I was so against it, and then I ended up really liking them, and they ended up really liking me, but then I was the one who turned toxic. Right? And you could say for somewhat, like, it is my fault, and I know that. But anyway, I wanted to talk about something else as well. If this is currently you, and you think that being an attention seeker will keep your friends around, keep them latched onto you, keep you, and, you know, giving you a magnetic character, make them like you even more, like, there's only a certain extent, bro. Like, at some point you're going to end up pissing them off. Like, it's not recommended. I wouldn't recommend that on anyone, any girl, any guy out there. It's not going to end up making, it's the friendship will all come crashing down at some point, you know. And yeah, so like I said, I don't recommend it. So anyway, like I said, this is like 2022, like summertime now. I'm still going through it, and this is when I just started thinking, okay, you know what? Screw those guys. This is like, what, September now, 2022, or October 2022. I'm thinking, sod those guys, screw them. I'm gonna move on now, and I'm never gonna have friends ever again. This is when I got into an unhealthy state of being like, I don't ever want to have friends again now. I don't hate them people, but I don't want friends ever again. Which is understandable to think that, you know, like, you know, think about this. You have friends, yeah, I know it's only for about, 6-7 months, but when it has such a massive impact, like I said, this is when the moment that we became friends, it was just about when I turned 14. So you think about that, you're not having friends since you were like 7 or 8 years old. You don't know how to manage having friends. That's why it's so hard, because it's like, you don't know how to treat them. I mean, obviously treat them with respect. You know, you be there for them. You know, this and that. You know, but it's just, I guess I just didn't know how to treat my own friends, and that's why they end up, you know, leaving me. You know, like I said, I don't miss them now, because to be honest with you, I mean, I'm not going to say in this video, but you know, they were bad people anyway. I'm just going to put that out there. You know, so it's not like I was the fuck up and they were just perfect. Like, to be honest with you, they weren't. And I'm not just saying that because I'm the one who fucked up. I'm really not. I'm being serious. Like, even though I was texting them looking for attention all the time, you know, they would never ask me to hang out, and maybe it was because of that, I don't know, but yeah, I wanted to make this video because I didn't want anyone else, because like I said, I've fucked up my teenage years from thinking like this, so I just don't want anyone else who's just about to reach their teenage years to go through what I did and be the way I was, because I'm admitting my mistakes. And I want you to not make those same mistakes as me, because I'm 17 now. I haven't had friends in 3 years because I've become so negative about the idea of having friends, because I just thought it's either going to be them friends, those old friends, or no one else. And if it is going to be someone else, they're just going to be toxic. They're going to be this. They're going to be that. Right. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, when I fell out with those friends, that's not the main mistake. What I'm trying to say to you, the main advice I'm trying to give to you is, don't let it make you think that everyone else is as bad as them. Because, like I said, I know I haven't said that much about them. I've just made it sound like I was the one who messed up. But they weren't good people either, bro. I'm telling you. They never used to want to hang out with me. They never asked how I was. They never, you know, and I know, like I said, I'm willing to take 50% of the blame, but they've got to take 50% of the blame too, and I'm not, you know. Anyway, like I said, I'm not trying to be petty or anything like that, but yeah, like I said, it's been 3 years now. I don't care what they're doing now. You know, people change, but I know for a fact that they probably won't change, but, you know, I'm over them now. And I'm just trying to make this video because I don't want anyone else out there to go through this, you know. Because, I mean, I know it's hard, you know, like, it's hard to not have friends and then have friends after not having friends for like 3, 4 years, 5 years. It's hard to, you know, handle it, you know. First of all, you've got all this attention coming in, you've got all this people trying to talk to you all of a sudden. It's just weird, it makes you... It's weird. It messes with your head a little bit, I would say, you know. And like I said, I don't know how to give advice on how to manage having friends, because I don't know how to manage friends anyway. Like I said, I've tried over the past few months, and no one makes time for you. I'm not trying to spread that message. Don't think that for a second, because I'm not. There are people out there that will make time for you, but I've just not found those people yet. And it sucks, because I wanna have friends, you know. It's been so long now, like, it's been 3 whole years, and this is what I'm trying to say, like, I've wasted 3 years having this mindset of everyone out there's shit, everyone out there's toxic, everyone's this, everyone's that. I've wasted from 14 to 17, I've sat in my house watching films, playing games, with no one else, and just sitting there. I've wasted, that's right, okay, I'm not going to keep on saying it, but I have wasted 3 whole years doing nothing. I'm not at college, I didn't study at school, because I just had so much stress going on, mental health, depression, anxiety, all these problems, and for what? I haven't got a job, I haven't come out on the other side yet fully, have I? Do you know what I mean? Like, I turn 18 in a few months. I haven't done anything. Don't get me wrong, I've had a good childhood, and you know, I love my family so much. I'm not just saying that for the camera. I really do. Like, I really do. But I never got to go to McDonald's with a friend. I never got to ride a scooter with a friend. I've never got to play games on the Xbox with a friend ever, not once. And it just... The last time I had a proper friend, honestly, was when I was about 7. That's 10 years. That's 10 years I've wasted. Anyway, I'm just... Like I said, I don't want you to go down the same path that I did, you know, because no one deserves that, you know. I'm not happy the fact that I wasted 3 whole years, and I know for a fact I'm not willing to waste 3 more years, no way. And I've come out on the other side now a bit. I'm still learning. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do not think that for a second that attention seeking is the key to maintaining friends, and do not think that if you have fallen out with friends, don't think that everyone else out there is like that. That's where I went wrong, okay? Listen to that. See you next time.